Hello, and welcome to Career Connectors. We are so glad to have you here this morning. My name is Jessica Pierce. I'm our CEO and founder, and we're just so grateful to have you on the call and to be part of our program today. Thank you so much to everyone who's already engaging, part of the chat, telling us where you're from, what industry you're looking for, and kind of where you are in your career transition, if you're in career transition right now. So welcome. I want to encourage you that you are in the right place today and that we have some fantastic speakers and coaches here today that can help you take your next step. So what I would love to start with is, if you have not opened the chat, open the chat. It's on the bottom of your screen. And go ahead and introduce yourself. Thank you. I see Phyllis, Allison from Colorado. Good morning. Phyllis from Maryland. Hi, good morning. Florence from Michigan. Hector, you're in Tempe. We have people all over the place joining the call today. So I promise you, there is somebody on this call today that you need to connect with and you need to talk to. So it all starts with a conversation. It all starts with an introduction. So please do that. Please drop your name, where you're calling us from, and kind of your industry or job that you are looking for right now. Alyssa, I am Ohio to Phoenix also, but I did it 27 years ago. So welcome if you're new here, not new here, new to Phoenix. I know a lot of us are not from Phoenix, but we are located in Phoenix. We serve nationally. So welcome everyone. So glad to have you here. All right, so that is the chat. And I want to go through a couple tech things real quick as we get started and let you know kind of how to run the show and what to do today. So first of all, we are all about serving our community. And the way we do that is through jobs, because we know somebody that has a great career, a good job, it really uplifts our community. So that's what we are all about. If you have questions today, so you may have a lot of questions as we're going through the presentations, as you hear our speakers, please drop them in the chat. The chat box is where all of that will happen. We will ask everyone to remain muted throughout the call until we get into the breakout sessions. So if you could remain muted but put your questions in the chat, because not only do we have our speakers that are talking, but we have fantastic coaches on the line as well that are answering questions in the chat. I already saw Antoine log in. I believe Colleen is here. Nicole is jumping on. All of these are coaches that are going to be answering questions as we are going today. So take a look for them. If you see them answering your questions, that's legit. They're good coaches and they know what they're talking about. Also, as far as the best way to take a look at your screen, I always encourage everybody to look at it with side-by-side speaker view. So if you are on Zoom on a computer, if you go to the right-hand top corner, you can see the view button. You click on view and it will drop down side-by-side speaker view. In that view, you're going to get our speaker and you're also going to get the presentation. So you can see both at the same time. Also, at the end of the keynote speakers, in about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half, we are going to go into breakout sessions. And what the breakout sessions are, they allow you to go talk to different coaches. Do you need to talk to a resume writer? How about a LinkedIn coach? Do you need to talk to our speakers or a finance coach or a career coach? All of those are going to be in the breakout sessions. And at the end, you can pop around and talk to them. So we encourage you to hang on and get your questions asked during the breakout sessions, especially if it wasn't answered in the chat. Okay, so if you do need closed captioning, that is available and it's on the bottom of your screen. You just hit show captions. So what I would love to know, now that you all have the chat open and you're introducing yourself, could you please drop a 1 in the chat if this is the first time you have attended a Career Connectors event, a virtual event, an in-person, whatever, any kind. Yes, thank you so much for answering. We have a lot of new people on the call today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for logging in and joining us today. Thank you. I think you're going to get I know you're going to get a lot of great content, and I know you're going to be able to make some fantastic connections. The other thing I wanted to ask is, If you are currently in career transition, so you're currently looking for your next job opportunity, can you, let's drop a 4 in the chat to make it a little different. You are currently in career transition. Drop a 4 in the chat. Welcome. You are in the right place. Allison, Kenny, Shar, Hector, Michael, Ruth, Wendy, all of you, you're in the right place, because we are going to help you be able to take a next step today. Bring you some hope and encouragement through our keynote speakers, through our coaches. The first one you're going to hear from today is Amanda Miller, and she's going to talk LinkedIn and how you can utilize it to be the key to securing your next job. And then we're going to jump over to Gloria Peterson, who is going to talk about engaging and mindful networking for job opportunities. And so those two go together, LinkedIn and networking. They are like, I don't know, peanut butter and jelly, I guess, but they go together. And then I'm going to close it out with some resources, and then we'll go into the breakout sessions. And so a couple notes. First of all, this event is being recorded, as you probably heard when you logged in. That means at the end of the event today, we are going to send you an email. And on that email, it will ask, or it will give you the link directly back to this webinar, as well as a whole bunch of other resources. But you will get that link after the event today. We do not send the PowerPoint out. It's a huge file, and there's a lot of intellectual property on it. So what we do is we send out the webinar link. So you can always look for that later. And then also, again, make sure you stay for the breakout sessions. The other thing is we encourage people to connect on LinkedIn. So I'm going to do some reminders about this. And if you do not have, if you don't yet have your LinkedIn account, you're going to learn about it today. But one of the main things around LinkedIn is your network. And both Amanda, I'm sure she's going to talk about this, and I know Gloria will talk about your network, but your network is really the step to finding a great opportunity. And so I encourage everybody to connect on LinkedIn, and Anna just dropped her LinkedIn URL down there. So I encourage all of you to connect with Anna on LinkedIn, to connect with Danny on LinkedIn. And you can see how they're dropping in their LinkedIn URLs. I'm going to drop in some instructions on exactly how to do that as well. But I want you to jump out to your LinkedIn profile, copy your profile URL, and you can usually get to that by just clicking on your picture. Copy that profile URL and drop it in the chat. And that is a way for people to know if they connect with you, if you connect with each other, you know it's from this event and it's legit and somebody in career transition, and you can possibly help each other. I'll also drop mine. My team will drop theirs. You're welcome to connect with us. And I encourage you to at least connect with 5 people today, at least 5. And that will help get your networking going. All right, you guys, we have a great event. I would like to introduce our first speaker. She is fantastic and has been a part of our program for many, many years. Amanda Miller is a passionate career advocate, so much so that when she relaunched her company this year, she named it Your Career Advocate. For nearly 3 decades, Amanda has supported job seekers through resume writing and job search coaching. She loves nothing more than to educate job seekers, providing them with the tools they need to accelerate their results. And she admits that she could talk for hours about how to leverage LinkedIn and networking during a job search. When not working, Amanda is an avid reader, a fitness nut, and enjoys exploring new ways to bake delicious keto desserts. I have seen her on LinkedIn. I have seen her for years on LinkedIn and teaching people how to use it right. She's phenomenal, and I am so honored to have you, Amanda. Please help me welcome Amanda Miller. Oh, I'm gonna ask you to unmute, Amanda. There.
I couldn't find the mute button. It disappeared on me. I was like, wait a second. Where did it go? Hello, sorry about that. It just disappeared and I was lost and I had no mute button. So I'm happy to be here. As Jessica alluded to, we have known each other for a very long time. When she launched this thing many years ago, I was one of the people who was there and got involved at that point. And I'm super excited. I tell everybody about Career Connectors. I'm always excited to support the organization and job seekers when I can. And today we're going to talk about LinkedIn. It's no joke. I could go on forever and a day about LinkedIn. It is so amazing. I will tell you that pretty much everything I'm going to share with you today is free. There is a paid option to LinkedIn, and you're certainly welcome to pay. I pay because I use it so much. What I would suggest is if you're kind of exploring that idea, they usually will give you 1 month for free. And then sometimes if you try to back out before the second month starts, they'll give you a second month for free. So most job seekers don't need to be a full-time LinkedIn user, but while you're using it, it's good to have all of those tools at your disposal. And you can do everything that I'm going to share with you, but I will give you some tidbits about what you can do when you pay. Okay. So we like to tell you what you're going to learn before you learn it. So at the end of this session, you will know all of these things. If you already have a complete profile, go grab yourself a cup of coffee, come back quickly because you'll want to jump into the next thing about increasing your network, expanding your personal brand, which really that is what LinkedIn is. It's all about your personal brand and sharing who you are as a person and as a value to a potential employer. I myself have secured positions off of LinkedIn, both from applying. So I currently contract, I applied for that position. And then the last job that I had that forced me to relaunch my business because they had to lay me off because it wasn't as profitable as I thought it would be. But they just found me on LinkedIn because of my profile and what I share. So it absolutely 100% is possible to find a job on LinkedIn. I'm not kidding. It's happened to me. It's happened to many of the people I've worked with. And then, of course, you can really up level your game by becoming a thought leader and using this platform for all that it's worth. Most people are only skimming the surface. You can do so much more. So we're going to go over all of that. So first, let's talk about how to complete and, of course, optimize your profile, because completing it is one thing, optimizing it is something totally different. So the first thing you want to have, and I'm going to go through all of these individually, is a custom URL. I noticed that some of the people who were dropping their URLs in the chat did not have a custom URL. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Again, doesn't cost you a dime. You want to make sure you have a professional branded approach with that's your background picture, that's your headshot that you have. You want to complete all the sections of your profile, even if you're not currently working. There is a career break opportunity to add into LinkedIn that you can add. You want to make sure you have keywords. LinkedIn is like Google, folks. It is a job, it's a search engine. And so everything that you have on your profile will help you be found. And so you want to make sure it also indexes on Google. So if you type in your name, it's likely that you'll find your LinkedIn profile. You can also, and I have little asterisks, the fine print, some of these suggestions may not apply to all people, but some people like myself, who's a writer, graphic designers, people who've done things like gotten awards, honors, patents, publications, or been featured somewhere, they can absolutely do that. But everybody can get some great recommendations, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. Okay, let's start with creating a custom URL. So the first thing you want to do is go to your page on your profile page. So where you're in the corner and you've got your headline and all of that. In the top right-hand corner, you're going to see this button that says edit your public profile and URL. You're going to click on that and the next page will open. It's not on that page, a new page will open, and in the pretty much the exact same place, it's going to say manage your URL. There'll be a little pencil by it and you can click on that pencil and it'll allow you to change your URL. So URL is that thing you put into, you put into the chat. It's what you put in, linkedin.com/in/ and whatever you use. I encourage you to use your name. That is ideal. If your name is taken, my name was taken. I put meet in front of it. So I'm Meet Amanda Miller, like get to know me. You can also use I am. You can put last name first. You can add an initial. What you don't want to do is put any numbers that will connote your date of birth or your age. You certainly can put numbers if you want to, but just avoid that because age discrimination does happen. And so we'll talk a little bit about that too. Once you have your URL, then you start to work on your profile itself. So you want to make sure you have a nice headshot. Certainly a professional headshot is best, but if you don't have money for that, that is okie dokie. You do not have to have it. What I don't want you to have is a faraway shot of 20 people where people can't figure out where you are. I don't want you to have a selfie where you have, you know, that duck face thing. I don't want you to have that. I want you to have a nice, approachable, smiling picture. If you have somebody else who lives with you who can take that for you, awesome. Make sure it's on a nice backdrop or a plain backdrop. Canva is amazing for not only creating those background photos, but for helping you to edit your personal picture. It does cost to do that stuff if you want to edit it. If you're just going to create a background, you can absolutely do that for free. Like I said, I'm going to tell you tons of things you can do for free. So you can do that if you want to. Or you can do it, you know, how I have taken my picture in the past is literally to get out my little stand for my phone and take a picture. So however works for you, kind of what you see right here, right? This part of you is what you want to be. The sample on the screen is what you want to be. You want it to be your bust, as they call it, your headshot. So you want that smiling, happy, friendly, all that good stuff. Your background picture, of course, should connote who you are as a person. So you can do something like this example and say your name and some keywords about yourself and what you're looking for. You can even put your contact information in there if you want. You can put a picture of something that interests you. I was working with someone recently who was a huge fan of Scotland and Ireland, and he had been there recently, posted a picture of a castle. That's perfectly fine. Mine has a picture of a view from Black Mountain here in North Phoenix. And I went on a hike because I hike all the time. And then it has overlaid on that all of my information. So I kind of did both. You can absolutely do that as well. What you probably don't want to do, though, is choose those pictures that are populated in LinkedIn because everybody else is doing that. Make yourself stand out, make yourself be a little different, create something fun and interesting. You want to make sure that you complete all of the sections of your profile. And I was looking at this morning, I realized, oh, that picture goes over accomplishments. So that's what that says. The job descriptions include your accomplishments. But you want to make sure all of those different components are filled out. LinkedIn will give you a grade and tell you that you're an all-star. I've been on LinkedIn so much, I neglected to look this morning, but pretty much around when it started is when I joined on LinkedIn. But you can start anytime. That doesn't mean that you have, you know, a lesser approach on LinkedIn than I do. It just means you have a little bit more work to do to gain those people that you're going to be connecting with and building up. And this is your base to do that. So anything that applies to you, your headline, absolutely. Your featured section, possibly. And again, we'll go into that a little bit. Your about and summary. So that's that first part that people read about you. Leverage the heck out of that. You've got 2,600 characters, fill it up. Keywords, what makes you tick? Who are you? What value can you provide? All of your job descriptions, make sure you're including those. Some people just put the dates. You want to put all of that stuff, including those accomplishments on that word that's hidden. You want to make sure your education's on there. If you haven't been in school for 5 years or more, so you're, you know, old like me, you've been out of school for years, take the dates off your education. Again, age discrimination does happen, and you 100% can have your education put on LinkedIn without dates. Now, if we back up a bit to jobs, you cannot put jobs on there without dates. So just like your resume usually highlights about 10 to 15 years of experience, your LinkedIn profile should do the same. So cut out those older things and then roll them into your about section as an additional experience section with just the titles of your positions, the companies, and the locations, just like you would do at the end of a resume when you have more than 10 or 15 years of experience. If you have licenses or certifications, add those. Volunteer experience, we don't usually put volunteer experience on a resume these days, unless, of course, you are doing something that supports what you want to be in a job, then 100% you would put it on there. But otherwise, no, you don't really include that on your resume. So add that on your LinkedIn profile. Make that robust. They should somewhat mirror each other, your resume and your LinkedIn, but your LinkedIn gives you so much more space. Your resume is 1 or 2 pages. Your LinkedIn can be super robust with tons of information. Your skills and endorsements. So endorsements don't really matter all that much, although people will do endorsements for you. But having those skills in there 100% helps, because that helps for people to see who you are. And you can put skills in your about section. You can pick 5. You can put them in your job descriptions, and the sky's the limit on that, although they do suggest 5. And then of course you put them in your skills section. It's not all different, it overlaps. So your skills in your skills section are where you're drawing from for your about section and your professional experience. Don't create new skills. I was just reviewing a LinkedIn profile yesterday, and this person put like tons of words, expert in all of these things as a skill. That's not what they're for. It's not for you to populate. Use what's on there. Find something that fits. And the reason behind that is because if I'm an employer and I post a job on LinkedIn, I'm going to attach some skills to it. And when you go to apply, you'll see what those skills are, and it'll help them match you to the job. If you make up your own skills, you're not going to match. So make sure that those skills match, they're already there, and you can have up to 100 of them now. And of course, accomplishments, I say it again, but there's a little category about accomplishments. Those are your awards, your things like that, publications. And then recommendations are super important as well. So then you can optimize your profile. Like I mentioned before, LinkedIn is a search engine. There's no way around it. It's a very powerful search engine. You can use it, I'm going to show you how later, to find people that you need to connect with when you apply for a job, as well as when you're just looking for people to connect with. It's very powerful. So make it easy for people to find you. They're not looking for you. Most people aren't going onto LinkedIn looking for Amanda Miller. They're looking for someone who can write resumes, who can help them with their LinkedIn profile. Those are the keywords that I'm talking about. So when they look for project manager, customer service rep, they find you, whatever you are. So you have a lot of space in that headline, about 220 characters, which is roughly 4.5 lines. Max it out. Put a bunch of stuff in there. You can even put in personal stuff. You'll notice on my profile, it says something about Wonder Woman. I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan. It's my thing. Everybody knows it. So I have that on there. Does that help me get found? Absolutely not. But it does create interest. So you're welcome to do that as well. You also want to make sure your about and summary have your keywords. An easy way to do that is say talents include or areas of expertise, and you'll see those under that. And they usually get transferred from your resume. Your job descriptions absolutely can have your keywords, and again, those skills and endorsements. And if you're curious what a headline example is, you can see that at the bottom, tons of keywords. Those are the things that person would be found for. And then other things that just show you who that person is. It's your brand. So you want to make sure that you're supporting that. You can also add in featured stuff and under the featured section. So a lot of people don't leverage that, but you can put lots of things, only 3 show up. So I would only suggest 3, but you could put 1 or 2 or 3, but you can put links, you can put posts that you've created on there. If you pay, you can put recommendations that people have shared with you and lots of other things. So this is a great way. If you have visual representation, you can put it there. If you are currently in between positions and it's not going to hurt your current job, so you're unemployed, this is a good place to show your resume. You can put it up as a PDF and people can just see it right there. So in addition to having your profile, they also have access to your resume. And then under the position, so the 3 at the back of this post have what's in your featured. Underneath that, the one with the fun little goofy looking guy that I can never pronounce what he is, that's what you can put in your experience section. So same thing, I'm a writer, this is from me, so I have a lot of things that I've written, so I've put them on my profile so people can see what I've written. If that applies to you and you have media appearances or design things or writing, absolutely add them into those positions to highlight the value that you can bring. Gone are the days of the portfolio you carry. Now we have LinkedIn for that. You can also get some great recommendations. You can request a recommendation in 2 places. One, if you've already built up some recommendations, you can go into that section, and in the top right corner of that section, you'll click on the little button and it'll say request a recommendation. and you type in the person's name and fill it out. Or you can go to the profile of the person that you want to recommend you and go in the more section, like it shows here, scroll down and you'll see request a recommendation. LinkedIn will walk you through this. It's completely dummy proof. It will say, so you can see here, it says Gerardo was senior to Eliza, but didn't manage Eliza directly, because LinkedIn will say, how do you know this person? Where were you working? What was your relationship with that person? So it will auto-populate that stuff for you. And then it also has an auto-fill section where it'll say, just like everything on LinkedIn, it'll say this, tiny little thing that says, hi, Eliza, would you please write me a recommendation? You can certainly keep that. I would suggest that you replace that with whatever you want them to talk about and make it a little bit more personal, but you don't have to. Another great way to get recommendations is, no shock, give a recommendation. The law of reciprocity being what it is, when you give people a recommendation, they're inclined to return the favor. So ask people or start giving recommendations for people that you've worked with. Good people for recommendations are obviously past supervisors, people you've supervised in the past, colleagues, clients, vendors. And if you're at the beginning of your career search, people in the community, so maybe with your church or synagogue, or also professionals at your school. So someone who taught you a class would be a great one to have. And then, of course, you can add these honors, awards, patents, publications as they apply to you. So these are under that accomplishment section. If you belong to organizations, this is me, so it isn't even updated. I have a lot more that I'm in now. But all those organizations that you belong to, you can put in there. Publications, you can put links in there. Any honors or awards that you have been a part of. So I didn't technically win the Better Business Bureau Ethics Award twice. I wrote the components for some other company to do that. But you can click on those when you're in LinkedIn and it shares all that information. Not everybody will click into your profile, but at least they can see all of this. And if you're worried, like, why am I filling this up? I've heard that people only look at resumes for 15 seconds at most. That is true. They don't spend nearly as much time on a resume, but they will spend minutes on your profile if it's interesting and if it keeps them engaged. So that's why we're building all this fun stuff. Okay, this is a question I get asked all the time. Should I be open to work? Should I not be open to work? Ultimately, the answer is up to you. If you think that it's going to be beneficial for you and not hurt anything, go for it. It can really help. I just saw a past client. I worked with him a few years ago, but he put his open to work banner on and he put out a post. Hey guys, I just got laid off. This is what I'm looking for. A week later, hey guys, I'm still looking for these kinds of opportunities. Within a month, he had a job. He got it all from his network on LinkedIn. So because he was super proactive and very specific in what he was looking for, that green banner helped him tremendously. When you don't want to put it up, though, is if it's going to jeopardize your current employment. So you're currently employed and then you put up open to work. It doesn't necessarily notify, well, it does kind of notify everybody, but they may not see that. But if they go to your profile, they're going to see it. So you don't want to hurt your chances with your current job by putting up that green banner. In that case, you would still say you're open to work, but when you go in to say that you're open, instead of saying, put that green banner on, you would say only open to recruiters. And then the green banner doesn't show up. Recruiters still know that you're open to work, but it doesn't go to your full network. So that's a great way to kind of be in between those two things. And obviously, if you're not really leveraging LinkedIn, it's not going to help you much at all to have that profile turned on for open to work, because they're not going to be seeing you. You're not going to be seeing those messages you're getting. So it's definitely not going to work. But hopefully after this presentation, you will be encouraged, if you're not already super active on LinkedIn, to get super active on LinkedIn so that you can be involved. Okay, so you have a great profile. Now what do you do? Now you need to build your network and establish and expand your personal brand. So this is the magic number, 500. In many things, I say that 3 is the magic number, like three people that say good things about you on a list of references, 3 or more accomplishments for each position, so on and so forth. But when it comes to LinkedIn, 500 is the magic number. The reason you want to have a minimum of 500 followers is because once you do, things open up for you as far as who you can reach, but also that number changes. So if you only have 422 connections, it's going to say on LinkedIn 422. And I will shed a little tear from you because you're not quite at 500. Instead, we want you to be to 500, and then it says 500 plus. So you could have 500, you could have 501. No one will be any the wiser between that 422 and that 500 that you only added less than 100. You now have 500. So that's a really good thing. The other reason that you want to add 500 is it's simple math. So you've probably already looked on LinkedIn. You know that you see up to 3 levels. So your first level, your second level, and your third level of connection. Well, when you have 500 followers, you don't just have 500 people you're connected to, you have all 3 of theirs that you're connected to. So mathematically, you exponentially grow your connected list, and those people show up in your newsfeed, you show up in their newsfeed, and now you have access to a broader reach of people. So if you've ever tried to look for people on LinkedIn, you might just get LinkedIn member. That's because you or they don't have enough followers and connections, and you don't get connected that way. There is, although I'm using them the same way, there is a difference between followers and connections on LinkedIn, depending on how you set up your profile. I've set it up so that I have followers, and you can see that full number. It's like, I don't know, 12,000 or something. And those are people who just follow you, but they're not technically connected to you. And then you have connections. The difference being is that with followers, you can't reach them quite as easily. Like you would still be using an email that you have to pay for if you wanted to talk to them. With connections, you can talk to them all day long. So that's the difference. So if you are stuck on who you want to connect with, here's a list for you. Everybody you know is essentially who you want to connect with, right? Everybody in this LinkedIn or this presentation today, go click on them, connect with them. You definitely want to be building and always be building. If you meet people out in the world, connect with them. It just helps you to grow your network. I am a firm believer in being what used to be called on LinkedIn, a LinkedIn open networker or a lion. You don't see that anymore. It's passe at this point, but I'm still an open networker. I still like to connect with pretty much anybody. Unless your profile is in a different language and I can't understand you and I know there'll be a barrier, I'm going to connect with you. Okay, so now you want to share your value proposition with your network. This is how you do it when you add a connection. And you will notice I connected with a few of you before I started presenting. Every time I send a connection request, I am going to add a note every single time. The only exception would be if I know you, like my husband, right? Or my best friend. I'm not going to send a note because you know who I am. But if I don't know you, I'm going to send a note. This is much easier to do on your computer. You can click on connect and then it'll pop up a screen and it'll say add a note, send without a note. Then you can add a note. It's a little bit trickier on your phone, but you can do it through the app. And instead of just saying connect, you're going to look for the other button under more, connect with a note. So I always suggest doing this on your computer because it's a heck of a lot easier. You get 300 characters. It's not very much. So you want to use that to say how you know them, why you want to connect with them, whatever. Maybe you saw something interesting on their profile. Maybe you met them somewhere, like at Career Connectors, right? Hi, thanks for attending Career Connectors. I wanted to connect with you. And then I usually say something else like, I look forward to learning more about you. And then I sign my name. So I definitely do that every time. It's going to increase your retention and people saying yes to you, because if you don't do that, they're going to say, I don't know you. And if they say, I don't know you enough, you get dinged by LinkedIn. And we don't want that. We want you to build your reputation, not mess it up. And I will warn you, I have a cat next to me now who might make an appearance. He's very cute. So then you can level up those conversations once you make a connection with them. Now you have all those capabilities that before you might have had to pay for, like InMails. So now once they're a connection with you, you can send an InMail to them. It's free. You're connected. You can schedule a time to talk to them if you think that that's a good idea. LinkedIn is not about just applying for jobs or just, in my case, securing clients. It's about building relationships. That's why you're there. It's a networking event. So that's why I connect with pretty much everybody, because I think if I'm at a networking event, I'm not going to say, I don't know you. I'm going to go talk to somebody else I know. Well, where's the opportunity in that? On LinkedIn, I'm creating those relationships with people. So I do want to get to know folks. So that's what it's all about. We're not forwarding. Forward, little guy. There we go. Okay, perfect. My arrows worked better. So now you can go even further. So we're doing baseline stuff and just building upon it. And I know that I'm sharing a boatload of information with you today. If you only do one or two things, pat yourself on the back. You've done one or two things. Just add to it on a regular basis. You don't have to do all this tomorrow, nor would anybody in their right mind expect you to. Okay, so you want to do some posting. You want to be out with people. You want to share information. I always suggest 2 or 3 times a week. If that feels too much for you, aim for 1 time a week. You can schedule these out. So when you go into post, and this is kind of what it'll look like, there's a little like clock thing in the bottom right-hand corner of that post. Click on that and you can schedule. You can schedule weeks in advance. So if that makes you happier, 100% do that. If you would rather do it as you're thinking of it, great. This is also very easy to do on your phone. So whatever way you want to do it, this is how it looks on a computer though. So you'll get these 7 different areas where you can do things. And you'll see that there's an emoji there too. So you definitely can use emojis. You can do bolding and stuff like that, but you have to go to another site. I like textconverter.net. So if someone would be kind enough to add that in the little chat, textconverter.net, you can go in there and you can put in the words that you're wanting to bold or italicize or make look different. And then it'll give you, gosh, 30 different options of what you want that text to look like. And you'll just copy and paste it back in here and it'll look exactly the way you want it to. So you can do that if you want to really elevate it and get some excitement. But the emojis are great too. Don't go crazy. This isn't a text, among teenagers. This is professional, but emojis can draw attention. So of course you can post images, videos, events if that makes sense for you. Your celebrations. I got hired. I got a new degree, whatever. If you're hiring, obviously that. Polls. Let's stop and spend a little second on polls. Polls are huge and not enough people use them. Polls allow you to post a question. It has to be very short. You can't get into tons and tons of content here, but you can post a question with 4 options for answers. And then you can say, add in your own or whatever. And you can make it last for 1 day up to 2 weeks. And when you do a poll, what do people like to do? They like to answer questions. They like to talk about themselves. So you can really up-level your engagement with polls, but you can also get some leads this way. Who's hiring for this? When was the last time you had to overcome this challenge? Always in your industry, and you'll find people who are dealing with challenges that you might be able to solve for them. Reach out to them. They're leads for you. So you don't just have to be looking at jobs. There are lots of ways to make this happen. A document would probably be like your, like if you had a diploma or your resume or something like that you wanted to share. And then seeking an expert is where, you want to find someone who can help you with your resume, your graphic design, your marketing. You can do that specifically. Oh, I forgot my mouse is not working now. Okay, you can write an article. This is really going up a lot. And some people are terrified of writing an article, but we have this little thing now called ChatGPT, and it can make you an instant author. So you can leverage that. I never, ever suggest that you copy and paste anything out of ChatGPT. Make it your own. Use it as kind of a starting point. Hey, ChatGPT, please write me a 500-word blog about my topic of what I do, right? You know, whatever that is, project management in the current state of the world, whatever. And then get that article and edit it heavily, put your own 2 cents in it, and then post it. When you post it, it goes and lives on LinkedIn forever, like everything does. But then you'll also create a little blurb about it, and the blurb will show up in people's feeds and push them to your article. This is an amazing way to showcase that you are a thought leader, probably the best. Writing, you know, a post every so often is nice. And you'll notice if you're on LinkedIn that they've gotten longer and longer. There doesn't seem to be an endpoint for how long your post can be. But an article also, you can be very long and you can really show that you know what you're talking about. So I definitely recommend that. And then, of course, you want to spend a few minutes pretty much every day, every time you log into LinkedIn, if it's 3 times a week or 1 time a week or every day like me, and review your news feed. See a cat, little cat there. Review your news feed. So you can do this on your phone. That's where this shot was taken from. It's very easy. You're waiting for an appointment. You flip through, you have all these different choices, just like Facebook. You comment on it, you share it, all of that stuff. Super helpful for them because then it goes to your people in your feed. So you help give them a broader reach, but also helpful for you that people see that you're active. And if you go to anyone's profile and you scroll down a bit, you'll see their activity and you can see how active they are. And recruiters like that you're active on LinkedIn, that you're supportive. Obviously, you know, as we get into a tumultuous season with politics and all of that, do not share your views on politics on LinkedIn. Don't share the picture of you drunk this last weekend on LinkedIn. Be professional. This is water cooler talk, right? You want to make sure that you're being conversational, professional, all of that kind of stuff. Because again, it lives forever. Okay, job search. That's what you're here for, right? You've got that stuff. You're a thought leader. Let's get you a job. Obviously, you can apply for jobs on LinkedIn. One of the best ways to apply for them is easy, right in front of you. Search for the job. Look for the job. Apply for the job. There is another way that I don't have a slide for, but I thought about it this morning. I was like, I tell people this all the time. Why did I make a slide for this? If you go into your home page of LinkedIn, so where your news feed is, and in the search bar up in the top where you would put project manager or whatever, you can put a hashtag hiring. So, you know, hashtag hiring, and then hashtag whatever title you're looking for. I have had jobs come up when I've done that on a Zoom call like this for client, and we'll find jobs that we didn't see anywhere else on LinkedIn. They'll pop up that way. So that's a kind of behind the doors idea that you may not have even thought of. So hashtag hiring, you can just do hiring, but it'll get everything. So then put hashtag whatever title you're looking for or area or industry, and you'll see a good chunk of stuff show up. So either way you find it, of course, you can apply. You want to turn on those alerts. If you go to the job section, it'll send you an email every time, however you set it up, or you can just go to your jobs on LinkedIn. When you find said jobs, you're going to apply for them. You either apply Easy Apply, which you'll upload a resume to LinkedIn, and then the hiring manager will have access to it, or you will go offsite and follow whatever rules that are there. You'll tell LinkedIn, yes, I did apply, and it will track your applications for you. But you don't want to stop there. You want to reach out to the people who could be the difference for you. So the first thing you can do is if you see that it says like this, meet the hiring team, you have those people. You can message them right from here. Even though the little cursor is over the message, I do suggest that you click on their post, or excuse me, on their profile first. So if it's Will Roger, click on Will Roger. And the reason for that is will get a notification that you visited his profile, and he'll know that at least you spent a second or two there. I would suggest you go down, just kind of learn a little bit more about them, and then you can message them. Sometimes you literally can message them, and even if you don't pay, the way you can tell is on their profile, if they have the little LinkedIn thing up under their cover photo in the right corner, you can usually mail them even if you don't pay, because a lot of recruiters will turn on, like I have it turned on, that I pay so anybody can email me. And it's because I've allowed that opportunity for people. Most recruiters will do the same. If they do not allow you to message, then you can do the same thing we talked about with connecting with people. Connect with them and then tell them, hey, Will, I just applied for this position. I'd love to talk to you about it. Would you like to join my network? And boom. So then if they accept that connection request, now they're first level, now you can talk to them. But what if there's no name there? Do you just stop? Absolutely not. We have a solution for that as well. You're going to do a little research. Again, a search engine. You can find nearly anybody on LinkedIn, unless they just aren't there, and then that's kind of impossible. So you see this position, you click on the, so it kind of goes left to right, right? So you see the position for project manager, you see the company underneath it, click on that. That's going to take you to the page for that company that's on LinkedIn. Now, let's say you didn't apply on LinkedIn, you went to Google. By the way, Google job search, great idea. Just search in a Google bar, project manager jobs. And because Google is a search engine, obviously, it's going to give you tons and tons of jobs that you may not find anywhere else. And it puts them all in one place. You can't apply for them from Google, but it'll show you where you can apply for them. So just a little aside, use Google job search. That's your tidbit for the day that's not on a slide. And then once you go either from here or from wherever you found that job, look for the company. When the company comes up, you're going to go down to people. So you can see it says home, about, post, jobs, people. That's what you want, people. You'll scroll down to people. It's going to let you search for whatever keyword you want to put in. I almost always start with talent because most people who are in HR or recruiting have talent somewhere in their title. If you come up with nobody there, try human resources, HR, or possibly recruiter. But I've found really good luck with talent. You're going to get a host of folks that will show up for you. If they have enough employees, you might be able to look for a location because that's a search option. So if it's local, you could look for someone who's local to you. But regardless, find somebody who looks interesting to you. If it's Janet here, click on Janet's profile, make sure she still works there, and then follow that process. Message her if you can, or connect with her and tell her you just applied. This is gold. I have told everybody this to do this. Most people are like, I never even thought about that. Oh, and by the way, if you write a cover letter, you now have somebody to whom to address your cover letter. So the way that this plays out is sometimes people get crickets. I mean, it's not a guarantee. Sometimes people get a response, thank you so much, we're reviewing applications. Oh, wait, I'm not the person, you want to talk to this person. Thank you so much, Janet. I appreciate that you introduced me to Chuck, whatever. And sometimes people get interviews. I worked with somebody who ended up getting 2 interviews by doing this. Did not, unfortunately, get the job, but did get 2 interviews. So if you're going to do something extra, that's what you want to do. It's definitely worth it. And again, it doesn't have to be a job that originated on LinkedIn. There is another thing that you can do for companies that you're interested in. So some people are like, well, I just want a job. I don't really care what the company is. But some people say, I'm really targeting this company. So a couple things you can do. One is what's here. You can go onto the company's page and you can look for either the About or the Life tab. So I told you before about the People tab. Now we're looking for the About or the Life. As you scroll down, you'll see interested in working with us, turn on that you're interested. That privately alerts the recruiters in that organization that you're interested in that company. So that is a great way to get their attention. The other thing that you can do is do that thing that I talked about for finding people, but don't put in talent, put in the position that you're looking for. So I had somebody who wanted to work at SAP, which is a big electrical company here in Arizona. And it's a large company. And she wanted to be in the project management position. So she did all of the stuff that I'm telling you to do. But what I also suggested that she does is to look for project managers who currently work at this place and start conversations with them. Hey, so-and-so, I'm interested in working at SAP. No, I think it's wrong. But anyway, it doesn't really matter what the company is. I'm interested in working there. SRP, that's what it is. I'm interested in working at SRP, and I want to learn more about you. Would you be interested in getting a virtual cup of coffee? So we used to tell people this in college. They're called informational interviews, and you ask them questions. What do you do? How did you get this job? What are you working on? That kind of stuff. That's kind of the angle that you're trying to take. You want to introduce yourself to a whole bunch of people within this organization so that you can up level that game. So this is also another way, especially if it's a large organization. If it's a smaller mom and pop, they may have, like my company has a LinkedIn company page, but there's just me, right? You know, you're not going to go finding an HR talent person there or anybody else. You're just going to find me. So that could be true with smaller companies, but with larger companies, you can definitely use all of these approaches. So I fully encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn. There I am. As I told you before, I am Meet Amanda Miller. I expect to see lots and lots of invitations from you, and I will accept them all. And when I accept them, I'll also send you a note, because that's what I do to try to build relationships. And I encourage you to do that. And you can steal my note if you want. It basically just says, hey, nice to meet you. This is a little bit about me. And you can make it your own. So relationships are what we're going for on LinkedIn at every step. And we want to make sure that we're building those relationships. We're positioning ourselves as thought leaders. We're going that extra mile, because certainly you can apply for a job and do none of the things that I just told you, and you can land a job. That happens. People do it all the time, always have. But if you do these other things that I'm suggesting on LinkedIn, not only is it going to build your network, so if you get laid off in 2 years, you have that network to go back to, but it's also going to position you for better success sooner and cut down that job search from what could be months to maybe just weeks.
Awesome, Amanda. So much great content. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a lot of comments in the post or in the chat for you to scroll through and see if you might be able to answer. I want to ask the people on the line, I want you to think about all the content Amanda just brought in. I learned some new things as well, and I'm on LinkedIn every day. Can you drop in the chat one thing that you took away from today that you will be able to implement by the end of the week, which means tomorrow night? So I want you to drop in the chat one thing that you learned today, or that maybe you didn't learn anything new and you knew it all, but you said, you know what, I need to do this week. Could you drop that in the chat? And so we can see what you are committing to by the end of the week. Good, making 500 plus connections. That was the one thing I was going to say. If you don't have 500 plus connections, that is a great place to kind of get going and really have a goal. Yeah, revamping job experiences, great. Finding more connections, connecting. We're seeing a lot of that. Keywords. Good job. Exactly, you guys. This is what I want you to make sure that you write that down. And whether it's on your phone, maybe you're a paper and pencil person, you write that down and you really focus on that. And if it is 500 connections, that's probably not going to happen tomorrow, but you can at least connect with Amanda, you can connect with me, you can connect with some other people that have a lot of LinkedIn connections that will allow you to have access to a lot of people, especially people in the industry and the type of job you're looking for. So how about a virtual round of applause for Amanda? Thank you for being here. And I know that she would, again, love to connect with you, and that she will be in the breakout session to answer questions that you have and be available to you. So thanks again, Amanda. We so appreciate you being here today. All right. So now, you guys, we are going to move over to our next speaker, And now that, you know, we see connections, and how important connections are, our next speaker, Gloria, is specifically going to talk about networking. And she is the founder and director of Global Protocol Academy, LLC. She is a seasoned speaker, trainer, and accomplished author of 6 books in her field. She has also been supportive of Career Connectors for many, many, many years. With over 3 decades of experience, she has honed her skills to empower individuals to navigate professional and social scenarios with finesse gracefully. Her dynamic presentations instill confidence in individuals, inspiring them to elevate their image and interactions. Will you please help me welcome Gloria Peterson?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, my question to all of you is, have you ever considered engaging mindfulness in the job search? Now, for some of you, you're probably, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. I am doing it. Others of you might say, well, what is that? I don't understand. How do you use that? Okay, well, trying to go to the next slide here. Okay, here's how we're going to engage it for the job opportunity. I'm sorry, I said that awkwardly. What exactly is mindful networking? It's the practice of being present, aware, and intentional when you are interacting with others. And the best way to do that is how you start your day. It doesn't matter if you're going to an event or having an interview at noon, mid-afternoon, or evening. The most powerful part of your day is the morning. So I want you to rethink how you are setting the stage for your day in the morning. First, you're going to wake up, obviously. Then you're going to have your coffee or your tea. But the next thing I want you to do is set an intention. Sit down in a quiet space away from noise, away from distractions. Take maybe 2 or 3 breaths. You hear a lot about breathing today. There's something to it. You take a breath, you hold it maybe for 5 seconds, and then release it, and do it about 3 times. It kind of gets your mind set on a better path, a great path, especially if you're dealing with a lot of distractions in your day. Could be family issues, frustrations with the job search, whatever they are. You have to put all that stuff aside. That's what mindfulness is all about. You want to set that intention first thing in the morning. This is your rehearsal time. So after you have had your coffee, had your breakfast, found your quiet space, then I want you to say to yourself, I commit myself to meeting individuals who can guide me to the perfect job opportunity. Something like that. Once you say it, write it down. You have to do both, but keep it in your mind throughout the day. It's important to set the stage for your day with that declaration. What you are doing is you are co-creating as if the job opportunity has already happened. Now that was hard for me to do when I'm thinking about other things. I'm sorry, we've got a double voice here. Okay. But you're creating your ala cadabra moment. Think about it that way. Once you've set your stage,
Gloria, I'm going to
yeah, we have.
Unmute. Gloria, if you could unmute yourself now.
Oh, was I muted the whole time?
Oh, you're good now.
Seriously, was I muted the whole time?
Nope, I just needed to reset you.
Oh, okay. So where did I leave off? Where did I leave off? No, you are. Okay, well, I'm just going to continue. Set the stage with your morning. You have to have this intentional rehearsal. In the intentional rehearsal, you're going to say to yourself, I commit myself to meeting individuals who can guide me to the perfect job opportunity, whatever that is. That's what you have to commit to. And then write it down, but keep it in your head. Don't let go of it. When you go on with your day, oh, I'm sorry, to rephrase that. What you are doing is you are co-creating as if the job has already happened for you. It's called visualization as part of that skill set as well. You also might say, use an affirmation afterwards. The affirmation can be something like, I am skilled at whatever that is, whose dedication, knowledge, and experience will be an asset to whoever hires me. So also use affirmations. They are also very, very important. Then when you get ready to go to your event, whether it is online like this, where you're going to have an interview online, or you're going to an event in person, you want to make sure you have a very, very engaging, charismatic approach. And in a minute, I'm going to show you the news anchor approach when you're doing online. It's so important to have the right positioning when you're on the screen. There's another technique for when you're live and in person. But you want to approach, you want to engage as you're doing with the chat room.
Anything.
We have another distraction.
Sorry, somebody
Okay.
keeps unmuting. She's gone now.
Okay. All right, that's all right. Engage and then visualize what it looks like to be successful. And sometimes that might mean check out the company, go on LinkedIn, just as Amanda recommended. Look at the company. How are they dressed? What do they look like? Look for you in that position. Visualize you in the position of somebody else that already has it. You have to do that. It's a very, very powerful thing to do. So engage, visualize your success. You also want to express gratitude and follow up with kindness. When I say express gratitude, I mean, you might say, thank you for having this event today. Find the event organizer and thank them for putting it together. You want to follow up with kindness. You want to do self-talk to yourself. Do you have to be kind to yourself and appreciate yourself that you even went there or you are participating? Extend kindness to others. And I see a lot of kindness going on in the chat, and that's a beautiful thing. Send a note on your LinkedIn afterwards. Send a note to people that you've met online through the chat. Maybe somebody gave you a great tip in the chat. Send a note to them, and that way you're getting engaged, just like Amanda recommended. But it's also very, very important to close with that feeling of appreciation. So important. Okay, now I want to share with you. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink of water here. The news anchor visual. I want everyone right now, if you can see each other in the gallery, take a look at everyone in the gallery. Okay, how are people positioned? Do you find that you are attracted or to somebody very particular? Or let me rephrase that. Do you find that you find yourself engaged or attracted to somebody in particular because they look very confident, they look very self-assured? Look around. And then I'm going to ask if you might be that person or maybe you're not. Here's the news anchor positioning. I want you to visualize a tic-tac-toe on your screen. I want you to right now, if you're not in this position, sit up straight. Posture is so important. And as you picture that tic-tac-toe, for those of you who are audio and can't see what we're doing, we're looking at the top line of your tic-tac-toe. Your eyes should be in alignment with that line. This positions you more powerfully. You will look more engaging, you will look more charismatic, and you will actually look more powerful instead of slouching back and sitting back. Watch the news. Your news anchors do use this. I have watched it and I thought, what? When I found this tic-tac-toe illustration, I thought, oh my God, they do use this particular technique. So you want to be very, very engaging. You want to come across engaging and interact with everyone in this position. I'm not sure how much time we have left, but I would like to close with something. And in closing, I'd like to share something. Everything I've done, by the way, and I'm sorry, Jessica, I'm sounding awkward here. The interruptions threw me off a little bit, but I'm getting my thing back here, my mojo back. I've written some books on mindfulness and health watch. During COVID, I really studied this and tried to figure it all out, how it all works. And I started finding myself and applying it to my own world and all the stuff that was going on and all the distractions and barriers that I was facing. And I found that once I started engaging this useful tool, and this useful tool does involve declaring an intention, cultivating gratitude, reciting your affirmations, stimulating these visualizations, trying to see it as if it is already done, generating kindness to yourself, to others, and even kindness that you observe, sharing wisdom, listening to wisdom, being appreciative of wisdom that you do garner from other people, and certainly practice your spirituality and faith. I found it really, really works. It really changed things for me a lot and inspired me so much that I had to write and share it, which is what I've done. Earlier, Jessica shared a prayer with you. And Jessica, I'd like to piggyback that prayer because this is something that I say in my prayer. Keep the faith because it opens unexpected doors. Have hope because hope never gives up. Stay positive no matter what, because it keeps you inspired. If you don't get anything more from me from this little 15-minute clip here, please think about that. And if you want me to put it in the chat, certainly I will. If you want me to put in the chat a sample of an intention, I will put that in the chat as well. Thank you for joining me and listening to me. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you so much, Gloria. We appreciate you being here today. I love the take on getting your mindset right before engaging in these conversations. You're actually, I think, maybe one of the first people that's ever brought that to our stage, our events. And so often I have people that will reach out to me, and I'm sure you do, and Amanda, and many of us. And I know we can be safe people for sure. So we're hearing some of the venting and the frustration, and we get it. We know some of you are very frustrated. I'm seeing some in the chat where people are like, I've been, looking for 3 months and this is hard and it's difficult. And absolutely, we feel that, we get it. Actually, most of us have probably been through it in some capacity, not exactly the same, but a version. And so really sitting and getting your mind right in the morning before engaging in those conversations really can change the game. And so thank you, Gloria, for bringing that to us. We appreciate you so much. If you have any other questions or want to have further conversation with Gloria, she'll be available in a few minutes when we go into the breakout sessions. Thanks again, Gloria. All right, guys, we're going to move into some resources, and then we're going to move into the breakout session so you can continue to ask some questions. We are right now going to ask you to fill out a quick survey, and we are giving away a $25 Amazon gift card to a winner today that takes the survey. So Wendy just dropped the survey in the chat, and we have a couple questions. It'll take you less than a minute. So if you could click on that survey, we want to get some feedback for our events and moving forward. So if you could click on that survey, jump out, it'll take you 1 minute. And then as soon as you get that survey done, come back in here and drop in the chat done. So we want to pick one winner today based on who has done the survey. So go ahead and quickly take that survey, click on the link, jump out, take the survey, come back and click done. We have some questions as we're a nonprofit organization and we are grant funded primarily to run this program. We are looking at some additional options. And so we just wanted to get some feedback on that. Thank you so much, you guys. Yes, and the playback will be available for you. We're going to send out an email that you'll be able to have access to. So if you can jump on, oh yes, we can. Wendy, can you post the link one more time? And also you guys in the chat, you can scroll up and you can see that link as well. But Wendy will go ahead and drop it in again. So thank you, Florence, Tony, Angela, Hector. Thank you guys so much for taking the survey. We really appreciate it. We'll announce a winner here in just a few minutes. All right, a couple things we have for you guys. We do have the recording, and so that is the direct link to our recordings. You will get an email after the event today. Usually it takes a couple hours for the event to load. So sometimes it's not active until tomorrow morning, but you will get a link. You'll get an email with a link that will take you back to this webinar and you can review it. You can actually look back at any of our other events as well. And I saw some people talking about age in the chat. That's one we addressed directly on in previous events. Actually, I think that one on that's coming up too. So those are available. We have the DISC assessment for you. The DISC is it'll take you about 10 minutes. It's a report about your style and your work environment that you prefer. And it gives you some good insight into who you are and the way you communicate. So I encourage you to check that out. That's free, no cost. And then we have all of our social media platforms where we're really engaging. And I encourage you, especially because today is a LinkedIn event, I encourage you to connect with Career Connectors on LinkedIn. We have a group specific to LinkedIn, and I'll go ahead and drop that in a minute unless somebody from my team wants to drop that in ahead of time. All right, thank you so much to our partners and corporate partners. We are so grateful. I'm gonna talk about two of them real quick. One of them, Best Companies AZ, works with many companies that hire in-person and virtual staff. And so these are Arizona companies, but they do hire virtual all over the place. And so Best Companies AZ represents many of them. They're award-winning companies, which is exactly what they do. They promote their awards so they can connect to top talent. So if you are interested in talking to Best Companies AZ, then they're going to be available in the breakout session. So Bree, if you want to move a couple slides forward here, some of the awards that these companies have won are like Fortune Best 100 best places to work, best companies with a DEI initiatives. And so there's a lot of different types of companies that are available in the types of awards. And so there's a slide with some of the companies that are represented by Jenna, who is with the Best Companies AZ team. And so she will be available at the end during breakout. And then we also have Jeff with LearnKey here. And LearnKey has been a great partner. They have their certified training program, and they're available online virtual platform to help you as you're kind of considering maybe what you want to do next. So if you're interested in learning some skills, upskilling, and then you can get upskilled and certified. And not only they have various different opportunities, you can see some of the opportunities there and on the next slide coming up. Not only do they have this available for you at a very low cost, they actually are doing 2 sessions for free. So if you want to get in some background and overview into cybersecurity, that is a really important program or a skill right now. I was just talking to an IT guy the other day. We were actually in Mexico on vacation and last week, and they had just relocated and moved to Mexico. And him and his wife, they had just had a baby, and he is in cybersecurity. This is what he does. He does it virtually. But he said in the IT space, cybersecurity is where it is right now. And if any of you have ever had anything stolen, credit cards, checking account, you know what a mess that can be. And so this is a really important area right now, cybersecurity in general. And then there's a soft skills course called Building Trust and Credibility. And that's another free one. And I can tell you that in our research with employers, trust and credibility is one of the top 10 soft skills that employers are looking for. Communication is at the top, and being able to make decisions and moving forward is another one. But there's 10 top skills, and that's one of them. All right. So we have some events coming up. So I know many of you, this is your first time attending with us. There's many different types of programs we offer. We do this virtual event every month at no cost, of course. And so you can come and learn, get the information, and then meet with any of our career coaches. And we do that once a month again. And then we do career events where we bring in employers and hiring companies. And so we have one coming up on Thursday, June 20th, and that is a virtual one. So many remote opportunities will be hired or will be available here. So we'll have about 20 companies that will talk, give an overview of who they are, their company, do a quick 3 to 5 minute presentation and talk about the jobs that they have available. And then you'll be able to meet with them in the breakout session time. And so you'll be able to go around and talk to each company. And this particular event on June 20th is really focused on kind of the support positions. So finance, IT, sales, anything that really supports the business. And that is what will be available at this event. So we encourage you on June 20th to join us. In your email that you're getting today, you'll have a link to that event. You can always go to careerconnectors.org and click on our event registration, and you'll see all upcoming events. And then on Thursday, July 11th, this is the event I was talking about. We have an event every year we do that specifically talks about age, race, and gender, the career obstacles. These are the three big ones that people talk about around, you know, ageism is real and I'm not getting a job because of this. Or, you know, because I look different, or I'm the wrong, you know, I'm female and not male, or vice versa. So she is going to come in, Brenda Cunningham. Brenda Mariah is going to, sorry, she changed her name. Brenda Mariah is going to be coming in and talking about this. And I love when she comes to talk to us because she tells you exactly the things you can do to avoid this and to get around it. So love to having Brenda here. So I encourage you to join us here. And then you guys, we're going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence, on August 8th. And that one is specifically for how to utilize AI in your job search, working smarter, not harder. And you heard Amanda allude to it, talk about a little bit today, not copying everything in ChatGPT and making it your own, but it is such a great resource to utilize in your job search. And even though you should not be copying it word for word, there is definitely a way to use it in your job search. So that's on August 8th. Those are the events that we have coming up. If you are interested in volunteering, we would love to have you. And so you can check out careerconnectors.org/volunteer. Sorry, avoid that comment at the top. We had 2 in-person events and we needed volunteers. So thanks to you. Thanks to all of you that volunteered last month. But we do have a lot of other programming and support positions that we need help with. And thank you to our awesome team here that is supporting the Zoom and the Resume Writers and Coaching Association. They have been partners with us since the beginning. And so we're going to have some resume writers in the breakout room. Amanda also mentioned she's part of that organization. And then we have a lot of coaches here today. So you can see our list of coaches that are going to be available for you in the breakout sessions. And lastly, we are a nonprofit organization. And so thank you to anyone that gives back once you land. If you want to give back to Career Connectors, it helps us move forward and continue programming. And so Bree, if you could just text me who we have is a Amazon winner, I will announce it. So thank you so much for filling out the survey. We're going to have a winner here in just a second to the Amazon gift card. And the winner is, oh, I know her, Debbie Weber. Woo! Thank you, Debbie. We're going to be sending you a gift card. Our admin is in tomorrow, so she will be here to reach out to you. So when you get a text from her, then it's real. You did get an Amazon gift card. Sometimes people think it's spam. It's not, it's real. So Debbie, she'll be Robin will be reaching out to you tomorrow to get that done. Congrats, Debbie. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Me and my team, we're always praying for you guys that you do land into the career of your dreams. And Bree, I'm gonna hand it over to you so you can talk about breakout sessions.
All right, so in just a few seconds, I'm gonna open up the breakout rooms. So you'll see that pop up in your toolbar. You're gonna click on breakout rooms. You'll see an entire list of them. You'll hover over to the right. There'll be a button that says join. And that's how you go into a breakout room. The same way you go into a breakout room is the same, or you go into another breakout room is the same way you joined. So I'm opening them right now. And if anyone needs help moving into a breakout room, just let us know in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Bree, for doing that. So she just opened them. And so again, they're on the bottom of your screen if you're on your computer. But if you can take a look at the breakout rooms, just open those up. And if you scroll down, you can see the different breakout rooms that are available and they are populating. We have everyone jumping in to the different breakout rooms. We have professional resume writers, career coaches. Bree, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. There's some information on the rooms that we have available. But you can go into one room leave that room and go into another one. So we have an hour of networking time. So go ahead and make sure you go into different rooms. Feel free to do that, especially if you have a room that's really full. And so if you don't see the breakout room, if you don't see the breakout room option, let us know. You can drop it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and we can help you get to the room that you want to go to.
Hi, this is Gina Anselmo. I'm also not seeing the break.